Hi everyone, I took the day off yesterday from doing any videos and I've actually, at 7:30 p.m. last night, I thought, right, okay, I need a day off social media entirely, and I haven't been back on it since because, yeah, I was extremely angry early on in this week, as many of you were. Labour being forced to lose this game of chicken by Tom Watson and the Blairites within his party. He's been forced to blink here, and he's been forced to lose a game of chicken because there's no way, I believe, that Theresa May or the Tories were going to allow us to, as they put it in their propagandising ways, crash out of the EU in a no-deal Brexit. They were never going to happen. Remember, that was never going to happen because, remember, no-deal Brexit doesn't fix the Northern Ireland issue. Doesn't fix it. It actually brings it to the fore, which means that brings to the fore the Northern Ireland question, which means the likelihood of the United Kingdom being broken up as a result very quickly has gone right through the roof, you know, much higher than it was you see my point. So they are never, it was almost, I see this as a game of chicken between Corbyn and May. It was who was going to blink first. It was Corbyn backing a second referendum or May pulling the deal, the no-deal Brexit, from the table, from consideration. Whoever lost that game of chicken was going to lose support, and the other side would obviously look great. They forced Corbyn to blink first and back this referendum. They have been trying it for months now. Months. And they got their way, and now obviously it looks like we're going to get referendums, where we're going to get an extension to Article 50 and a referendum. So you can see, obviously, I'm angry about that. And then there was this whole Chris Williamson being suspended. This is a witch hunt. This is a purge of progressive views from within the party. And it's pretty plain to see. I was angry. You were angry, no doubt. So I had to take a day off yesterday and really gather my thoughts. And now, okay, what I called for, this is my thoughts. What I called for was Jeremy Corbyn to stand up, fight, take it to the media head on. Because we've got to break through this propaganda machine. I'll cover that in a minute. He hasn't done that. Now, in my opinion, it's the wrong thing to do. Yes, taking on the media is more difficult. It's more head on. But you know what? You'll get a movement behind you that way. I think, yeah, I honestly, and I state my case for that in my video. I may not be right, of course. But it's not like they haven't done anything, because Jenny Formby has actually given Tom Watson a real dressing down in a letter. Now, I'm going to go to the BBC first of all. I'm not going to read all this, but this is what they say, and this is how they frame it. Just going to give you a quick example of the propaganda. It might seem innocuous, this article might, but first of all, the headline: Labour anti-Semitism. Tom Watson clashes with party boss. It's actually the other way around. It's actually the party boss, you know, Jenny Formby, the secretary. She's clashing with him, you know. You can see there, they're opening it up by saying that they've clashed, that she sent a letter saying that he's accusing him of completely unacceptable behaviour for asking that complaints about anti-Semitism be forwarded to him for monitoring. Okay, so he's asking all complaints about anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, which, by the way, are blown way out of proportion. There's something like 1,100 over the years, 1,100, of which something like, I think 36 were convicted and 12 left the party. That was it. It's like 0.015% of the party. Racism in the Tory party is much higher, but we'll get onto that in a minute. Obviously, this is the way they propagandise people. She said his approach would undermine and pollute existing party processes. This article continues. Mr. Watson stood by his request, saying opacity and delay by the party has led to complete loss of trust. So he wants all anti-Semitism complaints directed to him. He's just took it on himself to say, hey, I want this, right? And what the article then goes on to basically say is, listen, is this. They give it, and they frame it like Jenny Formby is saying, hey, this is just, you know, this is just because we want to protect data. That's it. It's just a data protection act, blah, 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 blah. They make it seem like it's a nothing. She's doing it for no reason. and then gave Mr. Watson's reply, and they gave his reply, and then backed it up by a couple of people saying, hey, I for one of who hugely welcome Tom's intervention. Nobody knows what the outcome of the complaint has been. Nobody knows what the process has been, Miss McKinnell said. So they've backed it up with a statement backing up Tom Watson. Obviously, there were lots of people backing Jenny Formby, but that doesn't follow their narrative. And then gone on, Jewish members distressed, and put a whole thing at the bottom. So that's how they framed it. That's how they framed this letter that has been sent from Formby to Watson and this clash between them. That's it. It's a nonsense. They've made it out basically as if this is Jenny Formby trying to, we're protecting against this anti-Semitism stuff. We can't let this stuff get out. We've got to keep it under wraps and keep it secret so the press don't know. That's the sort of way they're framing it. You see my point. This is the letter. Now, this is from Squawkbox. I don't like Squawkbox. I don't trust them. Okay? I was very close to reporting something that they reported a few months ago. Very close. And I stopped myself because it didn't feel right. And then I found out, it's not true. So I was very close to looking like a complete and utter fool because of them. So I don't trust them. However, they have published the letter in full, right? And brilliantly have highlighted the important bits. Because what you have to do here is read the letter in full to get the context that Jenny Formby is saying. And remember, this went to all MPs, all of them, not just Tom Watson. She sent it to them all. Conservative, Lib Dem, the lot, every member of Parliament. Dear Tom, she said, thank you for forwarding me a copy of your letter to all MPs of Lords. This is saying, I want all requests of anti-Semitism sent in to me. That's what he said. You raised several points that require clarification. I will take each of these in turn in my response. As you are aware, I have always been clear that members of the PLP should contact me at any time if they have concerns over issues requiring support, particularly in meeting parliamentary colleagues whenever this has been requested. This continues to be coordinated by me and my team and does not require any prompting. So pretty standard response so far. I'm not going to read this in full. It's actually a long letter, but I just want to read the bits that are highlighted. It says this: with regards to the reporting of complaints, as you are also fully aware, there is a clear single process for reporting complaints. So she's made that clear straight across. There is a clear single process. That's it. One process on it only. Don't muddy that water. You have decided, without consultation and without regard to existing process, to ask colleagues who raise issues or complaints with me to forward them to your private email address, as you will be, quote, logging and monitoring all complaints. It is absolutely inappropriate for you to set up a vague parallel complaint monitoring system. Both the party itself and you as an individual MP have a very strict responsibilities under GDPR. I don't know what that is. I always thought it was German Democratic People's Republic, but anyway, GDPR and the Data Protections Act 2018 to safeguard members' data and ensure it is processed only for clearly defined and lawful processes. So that's obviously, data protection, I was being pedantic. But it carries on then. And pay special attention to what they've highlighted very well here in the Squawk Box, by the way. Because if you read just the highlighted bits, you can get what Jenny Formby is actually trying to say here. It's under no illusions, really. To me, it stands out like a sore thumb. Information about members of a political party is, quote, likely to be special category data attracting enhanced standards of protection. The party has elaborate systems in place to ensure that data relating to complaints and disciplinary procedures involving members is processed securely and within a complaint environment. The suggestion that you, as an individual data controller, should receive and store data relating to complaints unrelated to your personal role as an MP on a private email address or indeed any other system is completely unacceptable and exposes you and the party to significant compliance risks. Furthermore, you will undermine the work that my staff and I doing will confuse and pollute the existing formal process, compromising it and slowing it down. Politicians have no role, nor should they, in processing or in monitoring complaints. All of the extensive work that has been done by the NEC working groups and the team at GLU, with the advice and support of the Executive Director of Legal Affairs, has been to specifically safeguard the complaints process from political interference. I am therefore perplexed by your suggestion, and am not sure what exactly you are trying to achieve. I know exactly what he's trying to achieve, and no doubt some of you out there are going, yeah, I know what he's going to do with that data. In addition to pointing out how inappropriate your suggestion is, I might also ask you to consider the impact that your letter has had on our staff in the government and legal team. I am copying this to all Labour MPs and Lords to ask them not to send complaints to you or to any other unauthorised individual, but to submit them through the proper channels as outlined above. Regards, Jenny. That is a severe dressing down from the secretary, the boss of the party. Severe dressing down. And you can see why. Tom Watson, Labour Friends of Israel. What's he doing with that data? Where is that data going? Why does he want it? Why does he want that? Does he want it just because so he can check that the complaints are being dealt with? Or what he needs a transparent process? That's what he said. No, he's not doing it for that. He's doing it so his friends know what's going on. Remember, there were reports coming out, I'm probably going to do a video on this, but there were reports going out that the same Tom Watson met with one of the key strategists for the independent group for a meal the night before all this shit happened. Is he going to give that information to his friends over at the independent group, who he fully supports? And has meetings with their strategists? What's he going to do with that data? Is he going to use it, I don't know, to muddy the waters? If he has that on his personal email, who can hack it? Who can hack it on his personal email? You know, can state actors hack it? Can state actors then find out who is making anti-Semitism complaints about Labour, and maybe then, you know, get political their parties on the ground, you know, astroturfing people on the ground to maybe stoke up some... You know, can you see my point? This is what Jenny, for me, I think, is blatantly outlining here. Tom, we don't know what you're going to do with that data. In fact, no. We have a deep suspicion, or at least I do, over what he's going to do with that data. I wouldn't trust that I nearly called him a very, very nasty name then. I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him before we lost the weight. For more truly honest independent media like the video you just saw, please subscribe and click the bell below as well so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. If you also like and share and comment on the video as well, that really helps with the algorithm and boosts exposure. And if you can support me, please do so. You can do with any of the avenues on the screen at the moment and below this video. You can support me for as little as $1 a month on Patreon, and every dollar helps. We need your support at the moment. We do not have an operating fourth estate. I'm sure you're aware, a functioning media holding power accountable is vital for democracy. At the moment, we haven't got it. So people like me are having to fill their shoes and do the job for them with your support. Thanks very much for your support. Till next time. Peace and take care.